God speaking to me, telling me I should buy this book.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Well, well, well. Looky who we have here, huh? Well, hey kids. How's everybody out there in YouTube land today, huh? I'm going to give it a little bit of time, let some people filter in if anybody's still there that watches old grandpa. Uh, if not, then it is what it is. It is what it is. It's what I deserve, man. I stopped putting out content for a long time, and now here I am trying to do a live. So it says I got 2 people watching. So thank you for those of you guys that are watching. Hey, Rich Will, how you doing, brother? Good to see you here. Appreciate you you following along. I really do. I'm gonna try to. I forgot I should have it pulled up on my laptop so that I could monitor what was going on in the chat, because it's hard for me to see when it's on my phone. So we'll get this going. There we go. All right. So 4 people now. Wow. Okay. People showing up. Very good. Not like the old days when we had a whole bunch of people. But hey, we'll get back there. We'll get back there. What do you guys think of the thumbnail? What did you think of the thumbnail, huh? Okay, so I have done a crazy thing. As a lot of you guys know, I have been working hard, doing the do, trying to get myself situated and improve my financial situation and well, today is the day, baby. Today is the day. Today I finally got my head above water, and substantially so. And I did a deed. The boat you see pictured in the thumbnail is not today. Knottoday. Not today. Not today is 1982. Used Columbia, not used, but used, Huges, used Columbia 36. She is a rare bird, actually. There's not a lot of the used Columbia 36. Hey, boss, how you doing? Thank you. Yeah, there's just not a lot of them. And I kind of like the idea of this. Now, this particular boat, once again, looking at boats, this boat kind of spoke to me. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I bought the Lily 2, I bought her because the name on the back of the boat said Lily 2 on it. And of course, my dog Lily is, a huge part of my life. And so I think that was God telling me I should buy that boat. And sure enough, that turned out to be a phenomenal experience for me, taking that really crappy 30-foot boat from Sandusky, Ohio, all the way down to the Florida Keys. This boat, on the stern, it says Bozeman, Montana. Now, those of you guys that know me well know that I lived in Paradise Valley, Montana, just near Bozeman. In fact, Bozeman is where we would go to do our major shoppings. Costco and whatever was over in Bozeman. The Ranch Supply Store was over in Bozeman. That's where we would do most of our stuff. So it gave me a good, warm, fuzzy feeling buying a boat that was related to Bozeman, Montana. I don't know why. It just made me feel comfortable and told me that this is, once again, God speaking to me, telling me I should buy this boat. So I did. So I did. And guys, I made every mistake in the book. I would never recommend for someone to buy a boat sight unseen. You just don't do that. You know, you look at it, you ponder it, you dig through it, maybe have it surveyed, so you understand what you're getting into. Um, I didn't really do that with the Lily too, because it was such a cheap boat. You know, you can't exactly go out and spend, you know, $800 or $1,000 for a surveyor when you're buying a boat for $2,800, which is what the Lily 2 cost me. And we're kind of in the same situation on this boat, although it's substantially more money. It's still not so much money that I'm interested in spending $1,000 to have it surveyed. I figure, you know, if I get there, then that's what I get for being a dummy, and take my licking, you know. Bacardi and Coke. Why? I don't know. I had some Bacardi. I am. I'm downsizing. I got to get rid of a bunch of stuff because I have to fit all this onto my boat. My boat. That's right. I said my boat. My boat. Okay, so 1982, used Columbia 36. She has a lot of things that the Lily 2 did not have. Let's start at the bow. She has a windlass. Yes, she can. You hit a button and the anchor goes up and down. Not something the Lily 2 had. And while we're still out on the bow, she has a bow thruster. A 36-foot boat with a bow thruster. How cool is that? But yeah, so that makes single-handed docking a breeze because I can simply just hit a button and move the bow of the boat left or right. So yeah, she's got a very nice big bow thruster on her. A bow thruster, frankly, that's sized for more like a 50-foot boat than a 36-foot boat. Really overdone. As we move aft, we have a center cockpit. Now, what that means is that the place that you sit to steer the boat is not all the way in the very far back of the boat. It's kind of in the middle of the boat. Why do that? Well, it's the most comfortable place to sit on the boat while the boat's underway because you get this motion. Remember when you were a kid and you sat in the back of the school bus and every time they hit a bump you went flying up in the air? Well, that's what it's like to drive a boat from all the way down the far back. Every time you go over a wave, you're being thrown up in the air. You get into some pretty hairy situations and really not too safe. This center cockpit has a very high combing. Now, combing means the area, the backrest. If I'm sitting down, the backrest behind me, as it goes completely around the cockpit area, is very high. So that makes this a very safe boat, both for me and for Miss Lily. So we can get down in the boat. Normally this would be on something to talk about when we got to the back of the boat, but it just happens to be sitting up on the deck. The boat does come with a rib. I don't have any idea what kind of condition it is, but it's an inflatable. And it has an 8 horsepower Johnson outboard. A Johnson, wow. You don't see very many of those anymore, but 8 horsepower Johnson outboard. Now it's been sitting on the hard for 3 years in Central Florida. The dinghy's been exposed to the heat and the sun, so I'm not too optimistic that it's going to be in very good shape. I think it's going to be kind of melted. But we'll find out when we get there. When we get there, there's another subject. I'll talk about the schedule here in a moment. Moving further along, we have a full Dodger and, over the head. And then behind that, we have a metal framework with solar panels. Has 2 solar panels up on the roof. Hey, Maniac, how you doing? So I have solar power powering the batteries on the boat. In addition to the solar power, it has a wind generator as well. Now, as we go further aft, we have two humongous davits on the back. Davits that look more like anti-aircraft guns than they do davits. I mean, they're these great big monolithic, you know, again, way overkill for the back of a 36-foot boat. There is a swim platform mounted on the rear with a boarding ladder. Boggles the mind. It really does. The fella from Bozeman, Montana that owned this boat, if you know, normal, on a scale of 1 to 10, okay, you're working on your boat, you've got a boat. Everybody familiar with the terminology earrings on a pig? Okay. So let's say this boat's a pig and you're going to update something. You know, if the boat's a 10, then you put 10 stuff on. But if the boat's a 5, then you buy stuff that's also a 5, you know. This guy didn't do that. This guy took a boat that's a 5, and everything he added to it was a 10. I mean, you don't put a bow thruster on a 36-foot boat. You don't have these davits on the back that are just insane. It's got hot water systems inside. It's got electronics. It's got navigation equipment, sonar, depth, wind, all the stuff up on the mast. The boat's laid out. High dollar. What would have been high dollar laid out for in the 95 to 2000 time frame. What would have been state of the art, top of the line technology is what the boat seems like it has. Again, sight unseen. I'm buying this boat from photographs, but sight unseen. That's kind of where I'm at. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. It's going to be very, very nice. I've had tremendous difficulty finding any information about this boat manufacture and design. There's very little. There's so few they don't even have their own Facebook group. Okay, Columbia has a Facebook group. Used Sailboats has a very small Facebook group. I posted on it, nobody responded. But Used Columbia, that specific boat, there's no Facebook group for it. So there's obviously that few of them out on the water. This is an old-time fashion, classic plastic, heavy duty, built like a brick. You know what? Like my Cal, my old 30-foot Cal, built very heavy duty. What they lacked in fanciness, they made up for in layers of thickness. Couple interesting things about her. She only has a 4-foot draft. She is a shoal draft. Now, my plans are to take it over to the Bahamas, possibly this winter, and live on it in the Bahamas for the winter time. 4-foot draft will be ideal in the Bahamas and all the shallow waters over there. It'll be absolutely ideal. I am concerned that a 4-foot draft means it's really not going to sail very well. I don't think it's going to go to windward very well. It's not going to track straight. It's going to track sideways because it has very little keel to it. It's got 4 feet, but we'll see. We shall see. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm going to turn my phone here and let you guys see some pictures. Hey Don, how you doing? So let me take you out of the doohickey here. Now, let me see if I can turn you around. There you go. All right. So there are some pictures of my boat. Okay, and as you can see right there, you can see the right there, bow thruster. Isn't that crazy? Now it has a 30 horsepower universal diesel. which is an upgrade over the 36 Columbia. The 36 Columbia did not have nearly that heavy of a grade. You can see the solar panels. Right there on the floor is the 8 horsepower Johnson. I don't know if you can see it in this picture. You see these like anti-aircraft guns sticking off the back. Those are the davits. And you can see the solar panels up on the roof. You can see a pipe sticking up. That's the wind gen up there. It is a beauty. Nice full head. Hot water, kids. Let me get you turned around again. Hot water on the boat, so that's cool. Pressurized, obviously, system in it. No air conditioning, but I'm going to resolve that because it's 90 freaking degrees in Florida, and I'm going to have an air conditioner installed on the boat. And with all that solar power and the wind gen, and in conjunction with me adding a small portable generator, I think I'll get like a Honda 2000 or something to power an air conditioner, so we can stay comfy on the boat. But there she is. So somebody had a question. Let me go back in the chat here real quick. Martin Hill says, funny, I was scanning your channel today looking for news on you. There you go. The Lily 2 was 30 feet, Don. She was 30 feet, not 29, she was 30. This is 36. Now, that doesn't sound like much of a difference, but believe me, 6 feet in length on a 30-foot boat is huge. Unfortunately, with this design, she only has 33 feet at the waterline. But she's also wider. She's a fat butt girl. So the interior the interior's got a real nice layout. It's got a very large V berth up in the front, and then amidships you've got a berth on the left side of the interior. Which really would be, and that's where I slept on the Lily 2 all the time, and where I may sleep, in fact, on this one for the time being. Why? It's in the middle of the boat. It's the most comfortable spot to be on the boat. You're not, at either end getting thrown up in the air. As you're going down the galley down the hatch on the right-hand side, there's a L-shaped seating area with a bunch of storage under it and behind it and above it and all that kind of stuff. There's a hanging locker between that and the V berth up in the front. And then, as soon as you come down the stairs, immediately to the left is where the head is. Now the head's got your toilet and your sink. It's got a little separate shower area. So it's still a bit of a wet head, but it's very large, very roomy. So it'll be much more comfortable and much better than what the Lily 2 was in that regard. So that's on the left side, and then on the right side is the galley. It's a straight line galley, and it's got a refrigerator, a gimbaled stove, a sink, plenty of storage around it as well. And then directly underneath the gangway is where the engine sits, the motor. She sits underneath there. And then because it's a center cockpit design, meaning that cockpit's midships instead of being in the back, it has this phenomenal. Okay, I think we're back. She's not still online, Martin. She's not still online. In fact, she was only online for a day. I just happened to catch her right on the right day, but no, he immediately took it down. So I don't know what you guys missed, but I'll tell you that right underneath the stairs is, yes, Martin, I think I'm back. Right down underneath the stairs, there is is the engine, the universal, which is really great because you have access on 3 sides of it, so it's really easy to service it. But then because of that center cockpit being moved midships on the back, you've got this huge stateroom with lots of headroom. A lot of these times you'll see in the back there'll be like the little berths, and they'll be really low and like a little hole you got to get into. No, this has got like a great big king size bedroom back there, really quite nice and comfortable. Once I'm on board, I'll give you guys lots of photos and stuff and video of all that. Um, so also up on deck, since the cockpit's midship, there's what I call the back porch. There's a fairly flat deck area on the back that those davits mount to. Big enough that I could put like a big, a great big cooler or some kind of a dock box back there, which is probably what I'm leaning towards, is a big cooler or a big dock box, so I could fill it with my fishing tackle or fill it with the boating supplies, your lines and that kind of stuff. So I decided to come on and tell you guys about this because, frankly, I'm freaking out. This has been a very long, hard journey for me. I hope I'm not making a mistake. I probably am. I would say there's a 50-50 chance that this is going to be a disaster. I honestly feel that way. Lily 3, yeah, I don't know, Martin. I don't know. I got to think on that for a little bit. I really do. The boat's current name right now is Not Today, K-N-O-T, and then Today. I kind of like that too. But Lily 3, is near and dear to my heart. So that might, in fact, be a better way for me to go. And go. Let's talk about going, okay? So, I am leaving Ohio on August 7th. August 7th. Today's the 28th, so I've got like a dozen days or so. Lots of pondering on your part, I am certain. Oh, Don, you have no idea. You have no idea. I have, I got a listing. You guys know I'm a realtor, okay? So I had a recent sale a couple weeks ago, and that was the sale that made me even. My head's above water again. I'm okay. Got a little chinks in the bank. Paid some of the credit card debt down. That kind of stuff. And then I listed this property, an island. I listed an island of all things on Buckeye Lake in Ohio. This island had been for sale with other realtors in the past. None of them had any success. I had it in contract originally about 5 months ago and thought I was going to be good to go then. That deal fell apart. And I just kept working, kept doing what I had to do. The big problem with this, here in Ohio is that the title companies and people, well, where do you park? When you have an island, where do you park? And I'm like, really? It's an island. There's no parking on an island. You get a boat, you keep a boat at the marina. When you keep a boat at the marina lets you park there. Kind of the deal. Hey, Coyote, how you doing, brother? So people were having a hard time with that. In fact, the title company made both the buyer and seller sign a liability release because they couldn't get the survey correct on it because it's an island. It's not connected to any other property, see? So usually when you buy a piece of property, there'll be a reference point somewhere in the neighborhood. There'll be a pin set somewhere that marks the section or the quarter section or some vestitude of that for them to survey from. And then what they do is they run chains. They call it chains, which is a measure, and they'll go around and they'll determine. Alex, sorry about that, brother. I'm surviving. And they go and they create a legal description. They go so many feet this way, so many feet that way, so many feet that way, and starting back at the beginning, which is in reference to some other point that has already been surveyed. But see, you can't do that with an island because it's not connected to another piece of land. The water is not surveyed. There's no surveys out in the water. As many boating people know that there's no point at the beginning. There's no survey pins. There's no markers out there that one could say, well, 300 feet from here and 200 feet that direction, and then it's 84 degrees. It's all compass headings and distances to set out surveys, and so the island really became a problem for them. But I worked through it all, and got it closed. Got it closed. It closed today. It closed today. And so I got a fairly substantial commission check on that. Not spectacular, certainly nowhere near the largest I've had, but certainly the largest I've had here in Ohio. And it put me over the top. And so I'm perusing, Marketplace and Yacht World and, doing all the things. And I happen to come across this one boat, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's filthy. It's really dirty. I mean, the boat is just filthy. Well, I come to find out that all the boats in that storage area are filthy, and the reason being it's in Central Florida. So when they burn off the sugarcane fields, great big billowing black clouds fill the air and settle down on, everything that's there. So the boatyard got hit over and over and over and over and over again with this black soot stuff, and so all the boats are really dirty. It's just soot on there. It's not, I don't think it's going to stain the fiberglass. It might, but I don't think it'll stain the fiberglass. If it does, I'll repaint. It's not a big deal. But the boat's really dirty, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want, and so the guy selling it, that was the problem he was having, is nobody even wanted to talk to him about this boat because it's so dirty, Oh, there goes the fire department. And so I looked at it, and I went, looking through the pictures, and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, that's cool, okay, it's got a bow thruster, huh? It's got davits, it has a dinghy with an outboard already, wow, okay, solar panels, a wind gen, swim platform with a boarding ladder, checking all my boxes, everything I could think about, And the price, the price was good, the price was really good. So I'm like, I've been debating whether I would disclose that. I'm going to disclose that. $6,000. I'm paying $6,000 for the boat. Okay, this isn't a luxury. This isn't a 2023. This is a 1982 old classic plastic, but she'll clean up beautifully. I have seen pictures of other boats that were for sale, like on Yacht World and stuff. Very difficult to find a boat that has the same floor plan and center cockpit design as this one. There are some, but they're few and far between. But looking at it, she'll clean up nicely. She'll be a very comfortable home for Lily and I. She'll be manageable for me as a single person, with the bow thruster especially. That's going to make that a breeze. So, more fire trucks going. So, let me see, where am I at in the chat? Let's see, you're back. Yes, Lily 3. Big decision, lots of ponder. Yes, yep. Are you headed back to Florida? Yes, I am, boss. Yes, I am. Dude, I thought COVID took you out. No, Alexander did not. Although, hey, guys, all of you guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys being here for a live stream. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I know that I have not been a good little YouTuber, and that I've kind of walked away from it for a while. Had to do that for my mental health and frustration. And you know as well as I do that, I tried to put this, that, and the other thing up, and it was just, frankly, it was all an embarrassment. Doing reviews of McDonald's, it's ridiculous. It was just an embarrassment. I just could not, in good faith, continue to make that kind of content. Not when I know what I am capable of, and now what I'll be able to do, that I have what I deem to be the right platform for me, which is going to be this boat. So, yes, I've been a very bad YouTuber. I have. If my channel fails going forward, I have no one to blame but myself. I'll just say that. So, but the adventure begins. I have 12 days now here in Ohio. Yes, yes, August 7th is really coming up quickly. 2 weeks, 12 days, I think, is what it is. Let me check real quick. I think that's where I'm at. Yeah, 11 days from today. As of tomorrow, I've got 10 days from counting. And I've still got, there's still a lot that has to be done in that 10-day period. Quite a bit that has to be done. I have a lot of stuff that I'm moving over and giving to my kids. By the way, my relationship, for those of you interested, with both of my sons is greatly improved. Although they're still disappointed in me and angry with me that I'm leaving again. But for right now, we're in a real good place. Whether that continues or not will remain to be seen. Right now, we're in a real good place. So yeah, 10 days. 10 days. Got to pack everything up, rent a U-Haul trailer. One day I'm getting the U-Haul trailer here, and then the next day we're hauling stuff over to my son's place, he's going to store it or use it or whatever over there. And on the next day we're coming back here and we're loading the trailer up. I am hiring some help. Because I'm a grumpy old bastard, and I'm hiring some help to help me load the trailer. Something I did not do the last time I moved. I'm not doing that shit again. And then I'm heading out. So somewhere between the 7th and the 10th, I will be somewhere between here and Florida. If you live somewhere along the way and you would like to chat and visit or what have you, then I'm certainly open to that. Be more than happy to meet everybody and say hello and get a meal with you or whatever along the way. I am really going to take my time driving down. Now, frankly, it's a 16-hour drive. I could just get up early in the morning and be there that evening if I wanted to. I don't want to. I want to really enjoy this trip going down because it very well may be the last time I do a big trip like that with a vehicle. Might very well be. Speaking of which, for those of you guys that don't know, I've got a beautiful 2021 Ford Crew Cab pickup now. Love my truck. Love my truck. It has been awesome. Are you going to dock in Florida where you were in the Lily too? Yes, boss. I have been. I've been looking for places to call home down there, and like there's some places in Miami that I could go to, but none of them are really a good long-term solution. There are a couple places there where there's mooring fields, some legal, some not so legal, that I could stay in. The legal ones are either very expensive or very exposed to open water. Not a good place to moor your boat. The illegal ones, there's a whole lot of bad stuff going on in those neighborhoods. So not some place I would want to leave my boat unattended, which I'll have to be doing. I'm going to have to work. I'm still a realtor, so I'm going to have to be doing some work down there. That means there'll be days where, Miss Lily's going to have to be on the boat by herself while I go do my stuff. So, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit. So I've been looking at different places down there to keep the boat. I really haven't found anything that I find satisfactory. Well, that may change. That very well may change. I'm going to stop at a few spots while I'm en route, moving the boat. She's in Central Florida, so I actually have to go across the Okeechobee Waterway and Lake Okeechobee. I got to cross through there. The boat's kind of by Fort Myers in that area. So I kind of have to cut through there over to Jupiter and then down the intercoastal past Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and that whole area. I could go the other way, just, but I don't want to. Actually, I'd like to go to Lake Okeechobee and, and do a little fishing while I'm going across the lake. Supposed to be some of the best places to fish for bass in the world, so I kind of like to do that. But and I kind of like to retrace some of my steps with the Lily too. And while I'm doing that, I'll check out various places along the way. I'll see what there is and what to do. If I don't find anything better, then yes, I'll be going down to Blue Key Harbor and Marathon, and plan on grabbing a mooring ball and staying there for the time being. Now that may change. I may end up getting a dock. I'm working on a lead right now to get a dock in Miami area, where I'll actually have a place to tie up. I have to join the yacht club. I may have to join the yacht club and have a dock where I could plug into electric and all that. But I don't know. I mean, that seems too comfortable to me. Too convenient, too comfortable. The boat's tied up in a very, very well protected area. So well protected, I mean, I would even sit there in hurricane season. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of going back down to Marathon. We had a lot of fun down in Marathon. There was some fun stuff going on down there in the marina with the morning radio program, and as you guys remember, I broadcast that quite a bit. So I may end up back in the Florida Keys, and I know the Florida Keys from a business standpoint, and it's a good place for me to work. To give you some perspective, from a real estate standpoint, the median priced house here in Central Ohio is less than $300,000. Okay, less than $300,000. The median price house in the Florida Keys is 1.3. So in other words, the average home in the Florida Keys is $1 million more expensive than the average home here in Ohio. Both of which work on the same 6% commission. So I'd rather make 6% of $1.3 million than make 6% of 3. And a lot of the properties here haven't even been 3. I mean, I sold a house lot in Columbus, $25,000. You know, I had a $300 commission check. Oh, big deal. Oh, whoop. Exact same amount of work. It takes the exact same amount of work to sell a $25,000 lot in town than it does to sell a $1.3 million property, or 1.6 or $2 million or $18 million property in Florida. Same amount of work. So yes, I think right now I'll be heading down to the Florida Keys. Now, that said, it is not, and I'll be very clear on this, it is not my intention to stay in Florida forever. That's not what I want to do. I want to be there long enough creating content, and when I say creating content and being in Florida, I'm not going to do like I did last time and spend 6 months in just there in the marina. I want to go down to Key West, up to Miami, go out to the reefs. I want to become much more active, make much more content. I am acquiring, I just placed some of the order today for scuba gear. I'm buying 6% of 1.3 has a nice ring to it. Yes, Don, it certainly does. Certainly does. I'm getting my scuba gear replaced, which will be nice. I haven't had scuba gear since I first left Alaska, so it'll be nice to have my scuba gear back so I can make the kind of content that I'd like to make. And with that said, what my hope is, my short-term hope is, my aspiration is, that I either can make enough money very quickly selling real estate there to fund myself for, 6 months in the Bahamas, or, a year puttering around in the Caribbean, and or build up my Patreon page to the point where I have what I calculated that I need is 135 patrons. Once I hit 135 patrons, I'm traveling. I'm gone. I am no longer going to. I'll sell my truck, and I'm heading out. No more real estate. No more nothing. Just full-time sailing, scuba diving, and traveling. Just like all the other big channels. In the meantime, though, I'm going to be fixing up this boat. Painting and stuff. In fact, initially when I get down there to Florida, first thing I want to do is paint the bottom, check all the through holes, replace what I need to there, freshen the batteries if necessary. So there'll be a lot of content in regards to all that kind of stuff that I'll be making initially. I'm not a big fan of all these boat repair videos. I mean, I'm really sick and tired of watching people fix boats. I really am. I'd like to see more, people out doing stuff. And of course, right now, within this genre, everybody's buying a new boat. I mean, Gone with the Winds is getting a new boat. What is it? Le Vagabond is getting a new boat. I'm drawing a blank now. Everyone's getting new catamarans. Everyone's ordered this, that. Oh, Vagabond's getting a trimaran, and it's like everybody that's in this genre is all of a sudden upgrading to these $1 million boats, and frankly, I think some of them are losing perspective a little bit in their success. I think it becomes hard for those of us who have been, paycheck to paycheck and doing things the hard way. Hard to relate to somebody in a $2 million catamaran who has all the money in the world to buy whatever they want and fix up whatever they want, add on whatever they want. This is going to be an uphill struggle for old grandpa for a while. Eventually it'd be nice to get like that, but I want my channel to become more about alternative lifestyles and a way to retire. And you can retire on a sailboat in the Caribbean for less money than any other thing you could possibly be doing. And you don't need to, you don't need $100,000. You don't need $200,000, and you don't need $300,000, and you don't need $1 million, and you don't need to be in debt for the rest of your life trying to make boat payments. You can buy a $6,000 boat and put another $5,000 or $6,000 into it, and clean it up, make it spiffy and niffy and comfortable for yourself and clean and what have you. And you can go out and sell the world on that and travel all you want. And Gone with the Winds did an episode I thought was really good. They when they first bought their catamaran, they took it to the Bahamas, and they spent 6 months in the Bahamas on their new catamaran. This is right when they first gave up the RV. For those of you that know Gone with the Wind, it's a YouTube channel in the sailing genre, and they did a video where they talked about how much money they spent 6 months in the Bahamas. Well, they spent $5,500. Now, that did not include the payments on and insurance on their boat. That was not included. And they did an initial stocking of putting food on the boat, and that also was not included. But other than that, in 6 months they spent $5,500. So let's say the initial stock up was $1,000. So they spent $6,500. They spent $1,000, $1,100 a month for 6 months living in the Bahamas, swimming and snorkeling and scuba diving and just hanging out on warm sandy beaches, drinking beer and margaritas. I mean, it's a good gig if you can get it, but I'm going to try to beat that a little bit. So there's my first goal. My first goal is I'd like to get my channel up to where I have 135 Patreons. I figure that's going to take me a year. And if necessary, that's what I'm figuring I'll have to do in Florida. I'll have to do content in and around Florida. And there's a lot, guys. There is so much to be done in and around Florida. I'm really surprised at how many channels, just use it as a jumping off point. Or everybody runs to the Bahamas. There's some beautiful places to sail and to recreate there in Florida. Whether you're on the inside, whether you're on the outside, offshore, inshore, in the Gulf, in the Everglades, whether you're doing a more urban kind of thing up into Miami or, a more remote thing down in some of the outer islands. Easily I could do 52 episodes just around South Florida and not even create things that were all that similar, you know. So what will my new channel be about? It's going to be about scuba diving. It's going to be about sailing. It's going to be about fixing up a sailboat. It's going to be visiting and checking out all these cool spots there in Florida. It's going to be lobstering, shrimping, crabbing, fly fishing, scuba diving, spear fishing. I mean, that's what the content's going to all be about. Right now, it's going to be just me and the dog, me and Miss Lily. But, you know, this is a nice boat. This is a nice boat. It's nice enough that, you know, some lady may not mind living on there with me. So, you know, you never know. There might be a girlfriend situation that pops up, or I may have some guest crew come on board and be involved with some stuff. There's some conservation things I want to talk about. There's some coral restoration programs and some fish count programs and plastics things. There's a number of conservation issues I want to talk about as well. I promise I won't bore you guys with that. But that's kind of where we're going to be heading and what we're going to be doing. So, 10 days, I leave Ohio, head to the Florida, to Central Florida. I'll get on my boat. I'm going to spend a month there at the marina. I'm going to spend about a month there. I mean, I have to pay for a month, so I might as well spend the month. I'm going to spend a month there at the marina and work on the boat. New bottom paint, cleaning up. There's a lot of mold inside. Got to get all that out. May have to do some upholstery. I may have to buy a Sailrite sewing machine and redo some of the upholstery inside. The solar panels are up on a metal framework. I really like to have you know, some sort of canopy across that as well, some sort of cloth, shade cloth or something, to work in conjunction with those solar panels to provide more shade for the cockpit and the back porch, as I call it, the back porch. I do want to clean up the I do want to clean up the gunnery there on the back deck, the davits, but my anti-aircraft guns on the back. I'm telling you, you looked at the picture. I mean, they look like two anti-aircraft guns sticking back there. I look like a battleship going backwards, man. It's funny as hell. So I want to clean those up and get those working and see what goes on. Yanking change, you're alive. Yes, I am alive. What's left of me? Yeah, and just to talk about that real briefly, I am alive, and I'm doing well, and I'm healthy. I haven't seen a doctor. When I first got up here, I had that horse thing in my throat, and they did a little thing on that, and then I went for an annual checkup, and they did the old prostate thing where I had to go in the hospital for a few hours, and they evaded my privacy. But other than that, yeah, I'm not doctoring for anything. I feel great, so I'm just fat. I'm just fat. I want to quit being fat. So, and the best way for me to do that is get back down to the Florida Keys, where it's too damn hot to make a lot of food, and make a lot of hot food, and where I can go swimming and get some exercise that doesn't interfere with my back. So that's kind of where we're going. Now, do you guys have any further questions? The chat's been particularly quiet. Of course, there's only 21 people watching, but it's particularly quiet. So, sound like what I did. Coyote, yeah. Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, Coyote bought a sailboat too. Yes, he did. He bought himself a fun little sailboat here in Ohio for his own pleasures. So, yeah, welcome to the family, as it were. Another sailor, and I don't know. Did you have a sailboat prior to following me and knowing me before? I don't know. No, Alexander, it's not a new boat. It's an old boat. It's a 1982 used Columbia, not used USED, but used HUGES, used Columbia 36. So it's a very old boat. Very old boat. But it's a cool old boat. 36 feet. 36 feet, Alexander. So, and the Lily 2 was 30. So, it doesn't seem like much. 6 feet doesn't seem like much, but 6 feet on a sailboat is huge. 6 feet is a lot of boat. And she's also about 1.5 feet wider, and that's also huge on a sailboat. Makes a big difference. And she's got all kinds of really cool bells and whistles on her that, you know, I'm gonna have a real learning curve with this because, the Lily 2 didn't have anything. It didn't have a windlass. It didn't have any electronics. It didn't have solar panels. It didn't have a wind gen. It didn't have a bow thruster. It didn't have a ladder. Remember, I had to put a ladder on the back so I could get my fat butt in and out. This boat comes with all kinds of fanciness. But, again, 2000. Let's say 2000 vintage fanciness. So, hey Joel, did I miss it, new boat? I was just thinking about your last boating adventure and fun to follow along. Yes, I threw for Shamrock and Mahogany. Wow, okay. The boat is a 22 Columbia. I'm up 1,100 Bix. I'm up to 1,100 Bix. Oh, box. Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Joe, I am buying a new to me. It's an old boat, but it's new to me. 1982 used Columbia, not used, but used. I don't know a better way of saying that. HUGES, a used Columbia 36. A very rare center console kind of sailboat. Surprisingly, with those 36 footers, the Columbia, some of those have a mizzen mast. This one does not. She just has a main and roller furling up on the bow. There's no mizzen, which is fine. Frankly, I'm not a big fan of having a mizzen mast on a boat that size. It just seems like an unnecessary level of complexity. Now, that said, you get in a blowdown and get demasted, you'll be damn happy having that little mast on the back. But generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of that. So, awesome. Yes, I think so too, Joe. I think so too. I think this is going to be quite the adventure for me. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, guys, that's the story. That's kind of where we're at and what's going on. I am going to, I'll make some more content. Probably won't make anything now until I'm en route, till I'm on the road. I might. It depends on the comments in response to this video, how many questions I get. I may get on here and do another live. I may put together a regular video where I can show you pictures of the boat and go into more details on it. Hard to do that in a live stream. I don't have this set up for that kind of technology right now. I could if I was on like OBS and doing it on my laptop or whatever, but I just wanted to get up here and do a quick down and dirty because frankly, guys, I'm really excited about this. This has been 4 years coming. I'm really excited about that. Boss, I would love to do the Erie Canal again. That was the best part of that trip was on the Erie Canal. But my boat is already in Florida, so I'd have to go backwards, and I don't really see that being in my future. Now it might. Never say never. There's something called the Loop, the Great Loop, where you go from the Great Lakes around to Florida and then back up like the Mississippi, that area, or the other way around, clockwise, counterclockwise, whichever. Actually, you're better off coming from the Great Lakes down like the Mississippi in that run, because that's all downstream for a long, long ways. And then, salt water going all the way back up to New York. The only place you're really going against the current, going counterclockwise, would be going up the Hudson. And there's a little current on the canal, the Erie Canal, but it's minimal. The Hudson River had pretty good current, especially tidal areas of the current was pretty good. So, but so I may decide to finish the loop which means I would start in Florida and go up to New York and go up the Hudson and Erie Canal, then go through all the Great Lakes into Chicago. But you'd have to take my mast down to go through the Erie Canal, and then you have to take the mast down once you hit Chicago to go into the Chicago River until you hit areas of the Mississippi. So I went down the rabbit hole looking at boats a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's very much a rabbit hole. But there's a lot of cool stuff out there. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. I was really surprised to find this used Columbia 36. A friend of mine has a Coronado. Now the used Columbia 36 is very much like a Coronado 35. Very, very similar boat. Same robust construction, heavy duty, and his name was Joey. And Joey, if you're ever watching this, man, reach out to me. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time. He had a boat in Seattle. Yeah, it was pretty funny, but super nice guy. Super nice guy. So Joey, if you happen to come across this, then let me know, and I'd like to get back in touch with you. But yeah, so his boat was very similar to this in design, although I think his was a Coronado 40, not a 36. The design was the same, but just a little smaller. About the same boat. Him and his wife lived on that. So, I'm trying to remember the name of his boat. It was a nasty name. It was not a socially acceptable thing for a boat. But have you ever thought about the van life? If I were single and no family, I would definitely do it. Boss, I had a van, if you remember. My van got totaled by a sheriff's deputy who ran off the road on a rainy night. Thought about it, but no, not really. Doing the RV thing or the van thing, for some reason that just never really appealed to me. I mean, that's too much like what we do on a daily basis anyway, only with uncomfortable accommodations. I find sailboats have a lot more room, you're a lot more comfortable than you'd be on a van. And, the van is just more of the same. It's more, to get in a van, drive around, camp out in Walmart parking lots, I mean, that doesn't interest me in the least. But, finding some nice remote anchorage in the Bahamas someplace, oh yeah, baby, that would be the thing. So, when do you plan on getting down to your new boat? I heard you say it was in Florida, but didn't catch the projected timeline if you mentioned it. Joe, I leave Ohio on the 7th. 10 days. I'll be leaving here on 10 days. I'm going to try to take 3 days or so to get there. The fact is, the boat is in an area of the boatyard, and the guys that run the crane to be able to move my boat, because they have to move it from the storage area to the work area, they can't do that till the 14th. So I'm kind of in limbo till then. I could even leave later. I mean, I don't have to be in the Florida. There's no reason for me to be in Florida before the 14th. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I could wait and leave here on the 10th. Take a few extra days, and not to say that I may not. I may, but I'm not. I'm kind of over living here. I'd like to get out of here, so, and not prolong things any longer than I have to. So yeah, I think I'm going to be leaving here on the 7th, 8th, 9th, getting down to Florida, 9th or 10th. My mother has a boat in Pensacola, I think, it's cheap. Cool. So yeah, and I'll be making content. Like I said, I'll make content along the way. I'll be making content en route. I'll be making content when I first get to the boat. I'll make a ton of content showing you the boat and every step I do along the way in getting that boat fixed up. I'm not in great shape, and I'm pretty fat, so it's not going to be something that's going to happen very quickly. And in fact, I'm going to have to hire. I'm going to have to hire some stuff done because I simply am not going to fit down in the holes. You watch all these videos of these guys fixing up their sailboats, and the guy's wife or whatever, someone skinny goes down into a hold, and is down in the bowels of the boat. I don't fit down there. I mean, unless it's a really big opening, I'm not going to fit down there. I don't fit in small places anymore. Hell, I don't fit in big places anymore. So, but we'll get that turned around pretty quick. I'm really sick and tired of being sick and tired, and so I want to get down there where I can really start doing something and knock the weight off. And I think I can do that quickly if I get down there and get on the boat. So, well, I'm looking at my laptop. My picture looks like crap on my laptop. What's my settings set at? Oh, well, 144. I wonder what it looks like crap. There you go, 720p, much better. You guys know you can set your settings to make the picture better, right? The little gear looking thing, click on the little gear, and then where it talks about quality, click on that, and then it gives you a place to go. So click on 720 or 1040 or whatever you have, and you'll end up with a much better picture of me. So, anyhow, guys, with that said, I think I'm going to end this here. We have gone over an hour. I really do appreciate you guys being here with me this evening and chatting with me. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. In the meantime, be good, be careful, take good care of one another, and I'll have more for you here in the near future. And I really will this time, too. Bye.